What's up, Sportman family? It's your boy Sporkman, and welcome back to another video. Now, before we get to this video, that being Bonanza and talking about this set as a whole, I just want to shout out, your local OTS stores. Make sure to go check them out this weekend. It's sneak peek weekend for Rage of the Abyss, that being October 4th to the 6th, where you can possibly win, playmats, field centers, cards, all the newest cards from this set as well, where you could trade with players and everything like that. There are going to be tournaments probably at your OTS store, so make sure to go support your local OTS stores. That helps go a long way in keeping the game alive in person as well. So I always want to give shout outs to when I can to your actual in-person stores. Also, New York Comic Con is happening relatively soon on October 17th to the 20th, so make sure to go check them out, because you can actually get your hands on this amazing playmat with Zane Truesdale and Cyber and Dragon, with actually limited removal being in the background as well, which I love the design, the artwork they have with this one, complementing again with the New York Comic Con logo here, and I think it just fits so well with this one. It's going to be $30 now. San Diego Comic Con playmats are usually available online and on Core TCG. New York Comic Con playmats are not usually available online, so that is the little difference between both Comic Cons. So I'm hoping that changes this year, but I don't believe it will. If it does, I will let everyone know. But for the most part, every previous year that I have ever bought New York Comic Con playmats, I've had to have a friend buy it on my behalf. That's going to the con, because they've never been available online. Again, if it changes this year, I will let everyone know, and I will update that on my end through the community tab here on YouTube. And you can also follow me on Instagram, where I will update it on there as well. But for the most part, it doesn't usually happen. But this is a wonderful design, one of the better designs we've had in a lot of previous years of New York Comic Con. I think one of my favorite designs in the past 5-6 years, that being. I just love the way this looks. I love that Zane looks so evil. I love Cyber and Dragon. I think it's one of the more better cards in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! In terms of just the artwork and everything like that. And I just think this artwork complements everything that's going with it, with limit removal and everything like that, like I've just said. But yeah, really cool art design. Good job, Konami, with this one. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is always making some cool designs when it comes to playmats and stuff. But let's talk about Bonanza, because that's what you're here for. Now, with that being said, I know a lot of people are having difference of opinions about this set. There's 50% of people that are really not liking this set, because they're realizing it's not going to be for them. It's not going to be for the current meta audience, where you're going to be able to pick up, current meta cards for the, current day format of Yu-Gi-Oh! But keep in mind, everybody, as much as we get support for reprints of cards of current day meta, we do have to also show some love and support for your Edison players, for your Go players, and now even your Hat players, that being a new format now in Yu-Gi-Oh! That they do need support on their end, as a lot of nostalgic cards are unattainable to this day, and those cards do need reprints, and those cards are spiking in price and do need to be reprinted for those players to get access to play those cards in those formats and into those tournaments. Because again, this format of Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot of players are distancing themselves away from current day meta Yu-Gi-Oh! And they tend to shy into more of the older formats, because they're seeing a more healthy version of the game, that is, and a more refreshing version of Yu-Gi-Oh! From back in the day as well. So again, there's no complaints from me for this one. I actually think this is a good addition that they're doing with Bonanza. Yes, they're calling it Bonanza, not Rarity Collection 3, though it is Rarity Collection 3 in all sense and purposes. They're not calling it that because I think of the huge flop and name for Rarity Collection 2 that had on it. It left a lot of sour taste in a lot of people's mouth. They just don't want to name it again Rarity Collection, because again, people are going to define that as another failure, so they renamed it. So I do get that, what they're trying to do in terms of marketing. So very smart move there, I will say that. But again, I think, and in terms of marketing as well here for this set, I think they did a great job, only because I say to the fact that is that they realize that there's a huge nostalgic audience. I mean, we see it with Retro Pack, we see it with Live Destruction, people going in waves and drones trying to buy these sets out of Target, Walmart, Best Buy, GameStop. Even at your OTS stores, when they had booster boxes, they bought it out. And yes, there's no surprise, because people are fans of the older generation game of cards. They love the older formats. They love the older cards. Nostalgic hype is real. Nostalgic feeling is real. I have it myself. I love older cards. I love seeing Flame Wingman, for example, being on here as a nostalgic card that you can get as a QCR. I love that you see Drill Warrior as a card here that you can get as a QCR. Dark Paladin, for example, as well. Let's be honest, Dark Paladin is going to be a fantastic QCR to get in this this one as well. Now, yes, we do have some current meta cards, that being Diabell Star and Promethean Princess, which will definitely favor the current day meta audience. But again, this being a 200 card nostalgic pool where people are technically favoring, the more nostalgic audience, where this set that is favoring that audience, you're going to see more people invest money into that end. I think this set will be a huge success in terms of that end as well, because of nostalgic end. I think people love just nostalgic cards in general. We talk about collector audience not being favorable right now in Konami's eyes, and they just reprinting stuff and screwing over a lot of collectors out there. But that being said, they realize there is a market for this as well in terms of the collector audience, and they will shove this down your throat a little bit so that way they can pull some money from those collectors as well, because they realize that, yes, even though, you might hate us right now, we're still going to feed you your collector cards in terms of this type of rarity, because you will buy it at the end of the day. And let's be honest, you will. We are very much gamblers at the end of the day in terms of the Yu-Gi-Oh audience, and we will buy into it even when it doesn't even make sense, to be honest with you. I mean, look for Retro Pack, for example. A lot of the cards were easy to pull, yet a lot of us bought it. A lot of us paid extra amounts of money for certain cards as well, and now we're seeing the value in those cards absolutely dip in the market. Yes, again, people will buy into things they love, and people will open packs they love. That's just Yu-Gi-Oh! That's just card games. That's just what it is, where we play and just enjoy the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! That's just, again, that's the love of the game. But with that being said, they realize they can feed off that audience doing the same thing with this set, that being Bonanza, that is. And they're going to absolutely have a huge success on their hands with this one, because they're pulling, the old nostalgic audience. And they will definitely pull a lot of older people that have quit in the past couple of years, couple months, couple weeks, because they will see what? With their eyes, they will see old cards that they grew up with. And guess what? They're going to definitely buy into it, especially when they see shiny, shiny, shiny cardboard, especially cards they love. And when they see their friends pulling shiny cardboard, they're going to want to go to Target and buy this as well. So again, this set will be popularized because of those things, and it's just a matter of time before it happens. It's a given, everybody. It's definitely a given. I think it would be. I just don't see this one flopping, to be honest with you. I don't see it flopping. I know a lot of people are technically saying yes, no, who cares about nostalgia card? A lot of people do. And not to say that this set won't have a lot of meta stuff in it, because it will. It will have a lot of meta stuff. It just won't have as much meta stuff as previous reprintable stuff, especially rarity collection stuff we've seen in the past. It's going to favor nostalgic audience because, again, they're trying to give a lot of Core Century Secret Rare cards to the cards that they didn't or weren't, they didn't have enough time to make into QCRs in other sets that they wanted to. Now, we say enough time, but we do see that Core Century Secret Rares are going to extend into 2025. So that gives me an impression, and correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, that this Core Century Bonanza, if it is a success, we could see Core Century Bonanza, what? Yes? Huh? Number 2. Core Century Bonanza number 2 could be a possibility down the line as well, because again, if they're able to bring out these sets like this, because they have Rare Collection 1, Rare Collection 2, now Core Century Bonanza within a year, they're going to do it. They're going to try to make as much money as they can. So cards that weren't even reprinted as a nostalgia card pool in this one, they'll be like, oh, guess what, everybody? We're coming out with Core Century Bonanza 2. And the cards that weren't QCRs, we're going to make them QCRs this time around. So again, there's always opportunities for them to make money on, an additional, set or, duo set for this one as well. So keep that all in mind. They're not dumb. They know what they're doing. They understand how to feed into those nostalgic audience, their audience as well, but also, give a little bit to them, but not too much in terms of, okay, we don't want to spread our legs too wide open for them to get everything, because again, they do want at the end of the day to make some money on future things as well. So they're not stupid. They're very smart as a company in terms of that regard. Again, they're thinking on a lot of short-term purposes where they'll lose a lot of audience long-term. We've talked about this. We've talked about this a long time now. They think short-term. They don't think long-term. So this will affect their, their base in the later portion of the market here as well. So, and of their fan base as well, their audience that sticks with them from thick and thin, not the ones that quit and come back just for certain sets. So keep that all in mind as well. So we talk about these things. There's just a lot of things that Konami doesn't really think about too much because they just think about, ooh, greed and money. We can make money right now. Who cares about later? So, there's those aspects as well. A lot of people don't realize as well that the game isn't dying from a sense of, I would say, current day Yu-Gi-Oh in terms of playing it. It's more dying in the sense of buying cards. I think a lot of people are transitioning to online Yu-Gi-Oh because again, you don't have to pay for cards. It's right there and then, and you can just play the game. And a lot of people are transitioning because online is taking over. Esports, gaming, those things are taking over. People are rathering just staying home, talking to their friends on Discord, playing those games, rather than going out, which in all intents and purposes, I grew up with the time of wanting to go out and talk to friends and be with them in person, play the game in person, whereas a lot of current day, modern day, you know, young people, they tend to want to be just online. They don't care to go out. And I mean, we'll see what happens. A lot of the audience, and we did talk about this one, of Yu-Gi-Oh is older audience. So, you tend to have to understand what audience you're feeding into as well. With all that being said, so that's a later discussion to have as well, because we're going to go off in tangents and different discussions if we start going down that rabbit hole. But I think Core Century Bonanza will be a hit. It will do well. I actually think this will be one of the better sets, reprintable sets of the year, especially since the tints didn't do so well in terms of, buying the product seal. That is, a lot of people bought it singles and everything like that because they realized the ratios and it just wasn't in their favor, right? We talked about it too much into depth past few weeks, whereas Bonanza is going to be seen as more of just collection, nostalgic, fun, more like a retro pack. You have to be to put it out there, to be honest with you. So keep all this in mind. Keep all this in mind. They understand. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Do you think this is going to be a bad set? Do you think that Konami failed on this one? I don't think they did, to be honest with you. I think this is going to be a success. I think this one is going to be a flip in the right direction for them in terms of just this set. What they tend to do afterwards, we'll see. But they also have to be very careful the way they're going about making all these QCRs. All these things high rarity. It really does devaluate the population, the market, the value of a lot of things here. We talked about it as well on Market Watch for the past few weeks as well. You have to be careful how you go about creating these rarities, and everything being high rarity as well. It does devaluate a lot of things in the population of Yu-Gi-Oh and a lot of people's opinions and cards that they hold as a collection piece in their binders. So again, we'll see what happens, but I want to hear your opinion, thoughts in the comment section down below. From your Shirley Sparkman, please subscribe and comment, and peace out, YouTube.